Okay, class, as I mentioned, since classes were suspended, I will just be showing you how to answer the unit test questions so you can have an idea on your scores and also use this as your reviewer. Okay, so please watch this. Number one says a succession of numbers following a fixed pattern. That's called a sequence. Okay? Pag nabasa niyo yung definition na yan, that's about a sequence. Number two, which of the following is an infinite sequence? Okay, so when you say infinite, the keyword here is the word infinite. And when you say infinite, it doesn't end. So, kapag nabasa niyo infinite na yan, dapat yung inyong um, terms ay merong ellipsis sa dulo. Okay? Hindi pwede yung letter A kasi although may ellipsis siya, meron 29. Ibig sabihin, tuloy-tuloy yan, pero hanggang 29 lang. Same is true with letter C. Yung letter D, obviously, finite yan kasi hanggang 11 lang. Pero ito, may ellipsis sa dulo, which means that it continues on in that format. So, letter B is the answer. Number 3. Is the sequence 18, 24, 30, 36, 42 an arithmetic sequence? Okay, so for you to know if a sequence is an arithmetic sequence, you have to see that the terms have a common difference. Ibig sabihin, dagdag lang ng dagdag ng the same value. So, pag napansin mo, 18, dadagdagan ng 6, nadagdagan ng 6, nadagdagan ng 6, nadagdagan ng 6. So, it follows the definition that it is an arithmetic sequence. And there are two yes there, so you have to choose which one has the right reason. So letter A says yes because there's a common difference. Letter B says yes because there's a common ratio. So ang sagot is letter A kasi common difference ang meron sila. Kasi pag common ratio ang meron sila, hindi arithmetic sequence yon. That's a geometric sequence. Okay. Let's have number 4. A sequence in which each term is found by multiplying the preceding term by the same value. That's what I just mentioned earlier. Yung minumultiply mo siya ng minumultiply by the same value called the common ratio. Ang tawag dun is geometric sequence. Okay, let's have number 5. Which does not illustrate a geometric sequence. Again, just like number 4 says, if it is a geometric sequence, you have to multiply by a common ratio continuously. So, yung letter A, namumultiply na namumultiply sa negative 1. So, geometric sequence yan. Yung letter C, namumultiply na namumultiply sa 2. So, geometric sequence din yan. Yung letter D, namumultiply ng namumultiply sa negative 2. So, geometric sequence din yan. So, yung letter B, on the other hand, nadadagdagan ng 4. Pero hindi naman yung geometric sequence. That's an arithmetic sequence. So, letter B is the answer. Number 6. A sequence 1, 4, 7, 10, 13 ellipsis is generated by the general rule 3n minus 2. What happens if you add 2 to the general rule? So, kung ito yung general rule natin, tas dadagdagan mo to ng plus 2, 3n minus 2, plus 2, magka-cancel yung minus 2 tsaka plus 2. So, it will just become 3n. So, that would mean that letter C is the answer. The terms of the resulting sequence increase by 2. Kasi nagdagdag ka ng 2, kaya madadagdagan ng 2 lahat ng terms mo. Ganun lang naman yun. Number 7. Write the first 4 terms of a geometric sequence given a sub 1 equals negative 4, r equals negative 2. Okay, so since given naman ang a sub 1 mo, negative 4, times 2 lang ng times 2. Times negative 2 lang ng times negative 2. So times negative 2, magiging positive 8. And then times negative 2, magiging negative 16. And then times negative, magiging positive 32. So your sequence should look like negative 4, 8, negative 16, 32, which is letter B. Kaya letter B ang sagot natin. Let's have number 8. The nth term of the sequence 11, 18, 25 is given by, okay, so para malaman mo yan, you have to look at the terms. So, ano ba nangyayari from a sub 1 to the next? Nadadagdagan ng 7. Okay, so, mas maganda kung gamitin mo yung formula ng a sub n. The formula for a sub n is a sub 1, n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So, I hope you will memorize this formula for the a sub n. Now, we don't know what a sub n is. That's what we are actually looking for, the nth term, a sub n. But we know what a sub 1 is. A sub 1 is 11, since that's just the first term. Plus, n is still unknown. We don't know. That's what we're looking for, actually. N minus 1 times d. So, as I mentioned earlier, it keeps adding 7. So, the common difference is 7. By the way, if some of you still don't know how to get the common difference, you just have to subtract the succeeding term by the preceding term. So 18 minus 11 is 7. That's how we got the 7 here. So multiplying, we will get 11. I'm sorry for the handwriting. I'm writing using a mouse. 7 times n is 7n. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. So, combining like terms, pwede natin pagsamahin yung 11 at negative 7. So, this will become 7n. 11 minus 7 is positive 4. So, the end equation is a sub n equals 7n plus 4, which is letter B. Okay, next. Let's have number 9. Number 9 says, insert two arithmetic means in the sequence 30, 21, ellipsis. Okay, so for us to find the missing terms, we have to find the common ratio. Actually, pag ganyan kaiksi, pwede mo naman siyang ma-logic lang. So, anong i-minus mo para magkaroon ng dalawa yan, since arithmetic yan, hanggang sa dumating ka sa 21. But just in case you will need to go through the formula, you will have to find R by subtracting the nth term by the kth term. Yung kth term is yung mas naunang term na alam mo. Tapos n minus k. Bakit ganyan? Kasi, di ba, pag pinag-minus mo ito, malalaman mo yung diferensya nila. And yung differential nila is based sa kung ano yung minus. Okay, so, kung ilan na yung na-add mo sa kanila. So, we will have a sub n is 21 minus a sub k is 30. Pang ilan ba si 21? Pang-4. Pang ilan ba si k? Una. So, this becomes 21 minus 30, negative 9, over 4 minus 1 is 3. Now, dividing negative 9 by 3, we will have negative 3. So, our R is negative 3. So, we just keep subtracting 3. So, 30 minus 3 is 27. And 27 minus 3 is 24. So, what we should insert in between are 27 and 24, which is letter C. Let's have number 10. The arithmetic series of the first 7 terms of the sequence 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16 is blank. Okay, so the formula for that is n S sub n, meaning the arithmetic series or the sum of the n number of terms, is equal to n over 2 times 2a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So that's the formula we have to use. And since we're looking for the sum of the first 7 terms, we have to replace n with 7 And since we know that a sub 1 is 1, 2 times 1, okay, it's here, baka mamaya sabihin nyo saan galing yan. Okay, so the first term is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus n is 7. So 7 minus 1 is 6. So 6 times the common difference. So what is the common difference? The common difference is, pag minusin mo lang yung succeeding sa preceding, 4 minus 1 is 3. So since alam naman natin arithmetic series yan, the same is true with the rest of the terms. So the common difference is 3. So 6 times 3 is 18. So now that we know the values, we can just add 2 plus 18 is 20. And it's easier to divide first than multiply first. So let's do that. Kapag mas madali yung multiply before divide, then do it. Pag mas madali yung divide before multiply, then do it. The same answer is to be gotten anyway. So 20 divided by 2 is 10 times 7 is 70. So the answer is letter C. Next, number 11. Which sequence has a common ratio of negative 2? Let me just check if it's still being recorded. Okay. So, number 11. Which sequence has a common ratio of negative 2? So, you just have to look at the terms. So, 8 divided by 4 is 2. So, it's wrong right away because it should be negative 2. So, for letter B, negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. 16 divided by negative 8 is negative 2. Negative 32 divided by 16 is negative 2. So, the answer is letter B. Number 12. Insert two geometric means in the sequence 1236 blank blank 972. Okay, so for this one, we have to use the formula for the geometric means in a sequence. So for that, we will use the formula n minus kth root of 1 minus n minus kth root of a sub n over a sub k. So that's the formula that we have to use to find the common ratio. Okay, so to find the common ratio, we will have, let's just use 972 and 12. This is the fifth term, this is the first term. So 5 minus 1, that's fourth root. That's 5 minus 1. That's how we got the 4. And our a sub n, which is the fifth term, is 972. And our first term is 12. So dividing 972 divided by 12. What is 972? So first, let's have 97 divided by 12. We have 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So 96. So 1, bring down 2. So 12 divided by 12 is 1. So the answer is 81. So fourth root of 81. So what is the fourth root of 81? That will be 3. That is because if we use 3 4 times as a factor, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, we will get 81. So the fourth root of 81 is 3. So now that we know the common ratio, all we need to do is to keep multiplying. So 12 times 3 is 36 times 3 is 108. And times 3 is 324. So the answer is letter B, 108 and 324. Or, pwede nyo rin, kapag ganyan lang kasimple kasi yung sequence, dinaan ko pa rin sa formula just for the sake of you knowing it. Pero, pwede namang hindi mo na idaan sa formula. Obvious, ano bang ginawa sa 12 para maging 36? Times 3. Eh, di times 3 mo lang ng times 3 kung alam mo naman na geometric sequence yan. So, 12 times 3, times 3, times 3, para makompleto mo kung ano yung nawawala. Okay? But just in case, the missing terms are not very apparent, then you have to use the formula I just used. Okay, let's have number 13. Find the sixth term of the geometric sequence 3, 9, 27, and so on. Okay, so the formula for the n term in a geometric sequence is a sub n equals a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. Bakit? Kasi yung a sub 1, given na yan. Tapos ita-times mo siya sa ratio, n minus 1 times. So, kung nakalimutan mo man tong formula na to, just put it in your mind. Di ba continuous multiplication ng common ratio yun? So, ito yun. Continuous multiplication ng common ratio. Tina-times mo lang siya ng tina-times. Para maalala mo yung formula. So, a sub n equals a sub 1 is 3. Para sa mga hindi nakikinig dyan, pag sinabi a sub 1, yun yung una. Kaya nga a sub 1. Tapos, ang common ratio, again, just divide the succeeding by the preceding para malaman kung ano yung common ratio nila. 9 times 3 is, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So, this will become 3 raised to n minus 1. So, since we're looking for the sixth term, 6 minus 1 is 5. So, that's what we will do. So, 3 raised to 5 means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 243. Tapos, may times 3 pa kasi nakahiwala yung a sub 1. So, basically, parang 3 raised to power of 6 lang to. Pero just for the sake of you following the formula, I still did not make it 3 raised to the power of 6. I still follow the formula. 3 times 3 raised to the power of 5. So, 243 times 3 is 729. So, the answer is 729, which is letter B. Okay, let's have number 14. Find the geometric series of the first 6 terms of 3, 9, 27. So, when you say series, okay, that's the difference between the sequence and the series. The sequence is just the list of terms. When we say series, that's the sum of the n number of terms. Okay, so when we say geometric series of the first 6 terms, that means the sum of the first 6 terms of this geometric sequence. So 3, 9, 27. So the formula for that is S sub n equals a times 1 minus r raised to the power of n over 1 minus r. Sana naalala nyo pa to. Okay, so the a there, or sometimes we call it a sub 1 as I mentioned before. So a sub 1 is the first term, which is 3. Then 1 minus, again, we get the common ratio by dividing the succeeding by the preceding. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So r is 3 raised to n. We're looking for the sum of the 6 terms. So we put 6 here. Over 1 minus 3. So, kagaya ng tinuro ko sa inyo sa classroom, kung ano yung nandito, tanggalin nyo lang yung exponent. So, earlier, we already calculated the 3 raised to the power of 6. That's 729. So, 1 minus 729 is negative 728. So, this is 3 times negative 728. Divided by 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So, since negative naman parehas, makakancel na yung negative na yan. Let's just divide 728 by 2. Then multiply by 3 because that's easier. Dahil even naman yung 728. 7 divided by 2 is 3. 6, 1, bring down 2, 6, times 2, 12, bring down 8, 4. Okay, so we don't need to further continue. We know that it will have a remainder of 0. 364. Then times 3. So 364 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 1 is 19. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. 1092. So the answer is letter D, 1092. So I'm just doing this fast since this is going to be a video anyway. So if in case you are not getting anything, you can play it as much as you as many times as you like. So let's have number 15. It says here that we should refer to the situation given below. So a polynomial 4 minus 2x cubed minus x minus 3x squared is divided by another polynomial x minus 3. The solution is given below. So right at the back, the given is negative 2x. When you arrange the given, it's negative 2x cubed since it's originally negative minus 3x squared minus x then positive 4. So why do we need to rearrange it? Because we have to divide um, a given dividend while it is in the standard form, meaning the exponents are in a decreasing order. And after rearranging it, we can see that this is not like this one because it has 2x cubed, whereas we have negative 2x cubed. So, mali na kagad siya. So, we cannot expect that the answer will be correct. So, we can just choose from the no's here. And we will choose which one is the reason why it's a no. Letter B says no, the solution is not correct because the dividend is rearranged. Close to the truth, but there's nothing wrong with being rearranged. Actually, it's a requirement for it to be rearranged in standard form. However, it was wrongly rearranged. So that's the issue, not being rearranged, but wrongly rearranged. So letter B is not the answer. Letter C, no, the solution is not correct because the remainder should be negative 20. Um, okay, if we divide this by x minus 3, should we get negative 20 x minus 3. Negative 2x cubed divided by x, negative 2x squared. 2x squared times x is negative 2x cubed. Negative 2x squared times negative 3 is positive 6x squared. Subtracting the whole thing, we will get this cancelled, and negative 3x minus 6x squared is negative 9x squared. Then bring down negative x. Okay, negative 9x squared divided by x is negative 9x. Negative 9x multiplied by x is negative 9x squared. Negative 9x times negative 3 is positive 27x. And subtracting, we will get this cancelled. And negative x minus 27x is negative 28x. Then bring down positive 4. So negative 28x divided by x is negative 28. Negative 28 times x is negative 28x. Negative 28 times 3 is positive 84. Subtracting, we'll get the first term cancelled. And 4 minus 84 is negative 80. So it's not negative 20. So letter C is not correct also. Letter D says no because the partial products and sums are incorrect. So it's basically saying that there's something wrong with the process. It's not directly stating that the rearrangement is incorrect. However, it's the only one that has a point because letter B is automatically ruled out. Letter C is automatically ruled out, being the remainder is negative 80. But letter D, although not directly stating the problem, cannot be ruled out. There's really something wrong with the partial products and sums. So letter D is correct, or is the closest right answer. Let's have number 16. Which of the following is the correct representation of 2x cubed minus x squared minus 22x minus 25 divided by x minus 4 in synthetic division? So in synthetic division, what we do is we just get the coefficient of all terms. So we have 2, negative 1, because if there's no coefficient, the automatic coefficient there is 1. Negative 22, and then negative 25. And then this factor is not the root. So if we want to change a factor into a root, we transpose it to the other side of the equation because it's like x minus 4 equals 0. So if we transpose negative 4 to the other side, it will become positive 4. So the root is 4. Now, if we continue with this given, bring down 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 1 plus 8 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. And then, okay, let me just check. I think I missed something. Sorry. So, I mistook it as 2. So, 7 times 4 is 28. And negative 22 plus 28 is 6. And 6 times 4 is 24. And negative 25 plus 24 is negative 1. So whichever has 276 negative 1 at the bottom and the right products as well, 8, 28, 24. That's the answer, which is letter D. Okay, let's have number 17. If 3x to the power of 99 minus 4x to the 84th power plus 5 is divided by x plus 1, what is the remainder? So we since this is a very large number, it's not wise to use synthetic division or long division here. Because if we do that, we will have to put zeros on the x raised to 98 down to x raised to 85 and also x raised to 83 down to x raised to 1, which is a very long division. So instead, we will use the remainder theorem. Okay, the remainder theorem states that if we substitute the root to the variable and we got something out of that, that is the remainder. Okay. So we have 3 raised to negative 1 because again, when we transpose this, it will become negative 1. 3 times negative 1 raised to the power of 99 minus 4 times negative 1 raised to the power of 84 plus 5. So the good thing about negative 1, when it is being raised to an odd exponent, it will always have a result of negative 1. And if it is being raised to an even exponent, it will always have a positive 1 as a result. So since this is odd, this is still negative 1. So 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Since this is even, this will become positive 1. Negative 4 times positive 1 is negative 4. Then the plus 5. So negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. Plus 5 is negative 2. So the answer is letter C. That's the remainder theorem. Let's have number 18. Which polynomials has x plus 1 and x minus 2 as factors? Again, we can use the um, remainder theorem here combined with the factor theorem. So the remainder theorem states that whatever you get when you substitute the roots to the polynomial, that's the remainder. And the factor theorem states that if the remainder is 0, then um, the factor, the given divisor is a factor of the polynomial. Okay, so let's have x raised to the 4th power, so that's 1. There's no x cubed, so there's 0 there. Don't forget that if there's a missing exponent for that variable, then you put a 0 there. So x squared has the coefficient negative 5, and there's no x, so there's a 0 again, and then the constant. So we can use the synthetic division, but we can also use the remainder theorem. Okay, let's just use remainder theorem. I think that will be better. That will be easier. So if it's x plus 1, then it's x equals negative 1 when we transpose it. So this will become negative 1 raised to the power of 4 minus 5 times negative 1 raised to the power of 2 plus 4. So again, even exponent, this will become 1. Even exponent, this will become 1 times negative 5 is negative 5 plus 4. So 1 minus 5 is negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So since remainder is 0, then x plus 1 is a factor of this one. Now, for x minus 1, if we transpose that, it will become x equals 1. So let's try 1. If we substitute 1 to the given, this will become 1 raised to the power of 4 minus 5 times 1 raised to the power of 4, raised to the power of 2 plus 4. But basically, this is just the same as the previous one because this became 1 afterwards. So 1 raised to the power of 4 is 1. 1 raised to the power of 2 is 1. 1 minus 5 is negative 4 plus 4 is still 0. So yes, Roman numeral 1 is having those two as factors. Now let's try the other because the choices gives us options 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, and none. So let's try the other one as well. So let's try negative 1 for Roman numeral 2. So we have negative 1 raised to the power of 4 minus 2 times 1 squared up times negative 1 squared plus 1. Okay, so negative 1 raised to the power of 4 will become 1 since that's even. Minus 2 times this will become 1 as well since it's even, plus 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. So 1 minus 2 is negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So yes, negative 1 is a root. Now for x minus 1, transposing it, it will become x equals 1. So let's check if 1 is a root as well. So 1 raised to the power of 4 minus 2 times 1 plus 1. Just like earlier, I will no longer expand this kasi parang ito lang din naman kakalabasan yan. 2 times 1 is still 2. This will become 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So yes, Roman numeral 2 has these two as factors as well. So the answer is letter C. Both 1 and 2 have them as factors. Let's have number 19. The polynomials x minus 2, x plus 1, and 2x plus 3 each divides 2x cubed plus x squared minus 7x minus 6 with no remainder left. These polynomials are called, okay, just like what I told you earlier about the factor theorem, if they don't have any remainder after dividing, then those divisors are factors of the polynomial. Let's have number 20. Factor the polynomial 3x cubed minus x squared minus 7x minus 4. I tried this earlier, but this given doesn't have any correct answer and it doesn't even factor anymore, meaning it's a prime. So number 20, sa mga nag-test dyan, that's bonus because there's no correct answer on this one. So that's a bonus. Let's have number 21. If the roots of a polynomial equation are 1, negative 2, and 3, then its factored form is written as, or are written as, okay, it will become x minus 1 because it's positive. When you transpose it, it will become x minus 1. Then this will become x plus 2. This will become x minus 3. So which one has x minus 1? X plus 2 and x minus 3. So that's letter C. Again, when they are in form of roots, it's like saying x equals 1. And when you transpose that to the other side or beside x, that will become x minus 1. If it is x equals negative 2, when you transpose negative 2 to the other side, it will become x plus 2 equals 0. And if it says x equals 3, when you transpose that, it will become x minus 3 equals 0. That's why the answer is letter C. Now let's have number 22. Using the rational root theorem, list all the possible rational roots of the polynomial equation 2x cubed plus 9x squared minus 33x plus 14 equals 0. So the rational root theorem states that the only possible roots are given by the last term and the leading coefficient, or the ratio of the two. So let's see the P, or the last term. The last term is 14. So what are the factors of 14? So we have positive and negative 1, positive and negative 2, positive and negative 7, and positive and negative 14. For our Q, which is the leading coefficient, we have 2. And what are the factors of 2? Positive and negative 1, and positive and negative 2. So if we get the ratio of these factors, of course, dividing by 1 will not change these. So we will have positive and negative 1, positive and negative 2, positive and negative 7, and positive and negative 14. But dividing it by 2 will give us 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. So positive and negative 1/2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 anyway, and it's already been listed. So let's skip that. 7 divided by 2 is 7/2. So we have positive and negative 7/2. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and it's already been listed, so never mind that. So this is the complete list of possible rational roots. So 1, 2, 7, 14, 1 half, and 7 halves, which is listed in letter D. So the answer is letter D. Let's have number 23. Describe the polynomial equation x squared minus 1 equals 0 in terms of its possible number of rational roots or the absence of it. Okay, so when the degree is 2, then the highest number of possible roots is 2 as well. So it has at most 2 rational roots, letter C. You just have to look at the leading at the leading term and look at its exponent, meaning the highest exponent you can see in the expression. Let's have number 24. Which formula represents the nth term of a geometric sequence? So I told you that already. The first term multiplied by the common ratio raised to the power of n minus 1. So letter B is the answer. Number 25. A pendulum that is released to swing freely travels 18 inches on the first swing. The pendulum travels 80% of the distance of the previous swing. The given problem is an example of what kind of sequence? Okay, so since it doesn't mention anything about the pendulum stopping, although in reality it will stop, but let's stick to the given. So the given does not mention it stopping, then we continuously multiply by zero point 0.8, which is the decimal equivalent of 80%. Then this will become an infinite geometric sequence because we keep on multiplying by 0 0.8. Okay, so let's have numbers 26 to 27. A fitness company is launching a new program and is tracking the number of push-ups a client can do. Scenario 1, the client starts with 15 push-ups on the first day, and the number of new push-ups increases by a constant amount each day. The client completes 25 push-ups on the second day. Scenario 2. The client starts with 15 push-ups on the first day, and the number of new push-ups is multiplied by a constant factor each day. The connection. The number of push-ups on day 4 in scenario 1 is the same as the number of push-ups on day 2 in scenario 2. Number 26. The number of push-ups on day 4 in scenario 1 is the same as the number of push-ups on day 2 in scenario 2. Given this connection, what is the value of the constant factor in scenario 2? Okay, for us to know that, let's list let's find the a sub 4 of scenario 1. So we can just list because this is just a short list. So 15, and then sabi 25 daw sa second day. So obviously the common difference is 10 kasi 10 yung nadagdag eh. So plus 10 ulit, 35, plus 10 ulit, 45. So this is day 4. On day 4, the client pushes up 45 times. And sabi, that's the same as what the client in scenario 2 does. And if that's the case, 15 siya ng first day, and then 45 siya ng second day. So, by how much was it multiplied? That's the common ratio. So, obviously, 15 times 3 is 45. So, the common ratio is B, which is 3. Number 27. Analyze the long-term sustainability of the two scenarios. Which model, scenario 1 or scenario 2, is more likely to be a realistic long-term fitness plan and why? Well, again, the term realistic will automatically throw the answer. The answer is neither of the two. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng araw-araw kang nag-i-increase, whether arithmetically or geometrically. Lalo na yung geometrically. So, eto, pasampu-sampu dagdag, mahirap na kagad yan. Tapos araw-araw pa, hindi yan doable. Kahit pagano kalakas ang isang tao, there's a limit. And how much more ito? Kung nagmumultiply siya by common ratio, or what we call exponentially increasing. So that's impossible. So neither of the two is doable in real life. Number 28. A new company launches a viral marketing campaign on social media. The initial post reaches 10,000 users. Each subsequent post reaches 75% of the number of users of the previous post. Which statement accurately describes the total number of users reached by the company's social media campaign? So letter A, the total users reached after n post is a geometric series with a common ratio of 0.75, where the first term is 5,000. So the 5,000 will automatically reject this answer because it's apparent that the initial post reached 10,000 users. Okay, so mali na kagad yung letter A. So yung letter B, sabi, the total users reached is an arithmetic sequence. It says we have to multiply by 75% the previous post. So it cannot be arithmetic because arithmetic means continuous addition, not continuous multiplication. So letter B is rejected as well. Letter C. The total users reached can be found by adding the initial post reached to a geometric series with a common ratio of 0.75. So that's possible. Um, the initial post is 10,000 and we keep adding it to the geometric series, uh, which has a common ratio of 0.75. That's the closest one so far. Letter D, the total users reach is the sum of two geometric series. Okay, so that's not the case because we don't see two geometric series here. So it just says uh, one geometric series, so 10,000 users, and then we keep adding, we keep multiplying by 0.75. So we just have to add those and we should have the answer. So letter C is the closest to the truth there. So number 29, a pharmaceutical company is developing two different drug compounds, A and B. The effectiveness of a compound in a certain patient's body is determined by a polynomial function. Compound A. The polynomial is P sub A of t equals t cubed minus 4t squared plus 5t minus 2. The compound is effective if t minus 2 is a factor of P sub A of t. Compound B, the polynomial is P sub B of t, which is equal to t cubed minus 4t squared plus 4t minus 1. The compound is effective if t minus 1 is a factor of P sub B of t. So number 29, based on the factor theorem, analyze the compatibility of compound A and compound B with the patient's body. Which statement is correct? So check down natin. So factor theorem. So ang sabi naman sa factor theorem, kailangan lang mapatunayan mo na 0 ang remainder. So pag 0 ang remainder, then that's a factor. So we can just substitute. Pwedeng synthetic, pwedeng substitution. So substitution na lang tayo. So t minus 2, when you transpose that, that's t equals 2. So substitute 2 to t. So we will get 2 cubed minus 4 times 2 squared plus 5 times 2 minus 2. So t cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 2 squared is 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. You still should follow PEMDAS. Okay? 5 times 2 is 10 minus 2. So 8 minus 16 is negative 8 plus 10 is positive 2 minus 2 equals 0. So since the remainder is 0, so yes, compound A is compatible with the patient's body. Now let's have compound B. Compound B is given as t cubed minus 4t squared plus 4t minus 1. And we should check the compatibility based on t minus 1 being a factor. So t minus 1, when we transpose negative 1 to the other side, will become t equals 1. So let's substitute 1 to the variable t. So we have 1 cubed minus 4 times 1 squared plus 4 times 1 minus 1. So 1 cubed is 1 times 1 times 1, or simply 1. 1 squared is 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. 4 times 1 is 4. Then follow it up by minus 1. So 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Plus 4 is 1. Minus 1 is 0. So yes, compound B is also compatible with the patient's body. So among the choices, the one that says that both compound A and compound B are effective is letter A. That's why that's our answer. Okay, let's have number 30. Evaluate the polynomials for each compound to determine the roots. If a compound has other real roots beside the compatibility factor, what could this signify in a practical context? So, syempre, since sinabi dito na itong mga divisors na to being a factor suggests compatibility with the patient's body, then that should also say that it's compatible with the patient's body, whatever the other factors are. So, tingnan natin kung alin dito yung nagsasabi nun. So, letter A, the other roots have no practical meaning and are just a result of the mathematical model. Okay. Plausible, pero meron tayong mas malapit na answer. Kagaya ng sinabi ko. The other roots indicate that the compound would have a negative side effect at those values. It doesn't make sense because the other factors being factors mean that they are compatible. So, hindi dapat side effect ang meaning nun. So, letter C, the precipans of other roots makes the compound less effective and should be redesigned. Again, that's not logical, being that other factors are meaning that they are parts of the solution. So, letter D, the other roots represent alternative effective values or conditions for the compound. Okay, so ito yung hinahanap natin sagot. Letter D. So, that's what we are going to choose. Okay, so that will be all for this unit test. I hope you will watch this. I'll see you again when we have your grades. Good luck.